Alright, hello everybody. Welcome to week 3 of Action English. I'm your professor, Stephen Hoag, and we're going to go through a small PowerPoint here just to remind you of some things. I'm pretty sure everyone's signed up to classes correctly now, and I'm hoping that you signed in your online workbooks. Everything should be sorted by now. It's been, this is our 3rd week now. So, I'd like to talk about just a couple reminders before we get into our book. Your textbooks B1 and Startup 2, listening practice B1. You should all have them by now. You can register for your Startup 2 online workbook using your code. Everyone has a code inside the cover of their book. And just follow the instructions. After 2 weeks, I'm hoping that you are able to do that or have it done already. For the audio files, I'm just going to give you I put some slides together to give you some more help for the upcoming self-study. Okay, this is B1. You have the B1 book. Okay, but let me just start over with something that, okay, go to ybmbooks.com. It looks like this. I know in here I have A1, that's for a different class, but I didn't want to do these slides over. So just search for B1, not A1, but B1. It'll be a blue book, not a purple book. Okay, but it's the same kind of screen as this. Grab the MP3 files. Again, you're looking for B1, and you can download them all, or I would say download them all if you can, if you have room. There's 2 different kinds here. One of them plays each unit without stopping. The other one, you can play each audio track singular. What will we study? There are 15 units, but we're not going to study all 15. But each unit has 4 parts. We're going to study probably 8, possibly up to 10 units. Okay, so you can change that to possibly 1 to 10. Okay, and we're going to study the first 4 before the midterm week. And we'll study the rest after the midterm until the final exam. So these are the different kinds of units. You're going to have choose the best answer to match the picture. So there'll be pictures in part 1. Part 2 will be select the best answer, A, B, C, to each question or statement. Part 3 will be select the best answer for each question. Okay, so you have to listen to the dialogue or the narrative carefully. There might be some maps or graphs, or there might be some visual aids to look at as well. Also in part 4, it's the same thing. Select the best answer to each question. And again, you might be supplied with some visual cues. But once you've downloaded the audios, listen to part 1 and part 2 just once. Okay, because they are fairly simple, and choose an answer. But if you'd like, for parts 3 and 4, you can listen twice. I think that's still effective studying because the dialogue is a little bit different. There might be people speaking different kinds of accents. Perhaps you haven't heard the Irish English or the Australian English compared to American English or Canadian English. So you can listen more than once before you select an answer. I would say twice would be fair. For the exams, you won't be able to listen twice, but for your studying, I would suggest, if you find it difficult to choose the answer the first time, Yeah, try it again. You can also check your own answers. That's why we're not going to be, I'm not going to be asking you to share your work with me, because you have the answer key and it wouldn't make sense. I can't really give you points when I know you have the answers. Okay. If any of you students are not Korean, you still have the answer key. It's part of the book. Some more advice. You should complete each unit at home each week, just like our uh, assignments through startup. If we finish unit 1, okay, I will need to check. But you should be also finishing unit 1 for your practice, listening practice as well, just so you don't fall behind. I would suggest do not erase your mistakes. Remember, I'm not going to be checking your books. I don't care how many mistakes you make, but you should care. If you leave your mistakes behind, when you go back to review again before the test, you'll know where you maybe fumbled the ball and where you should concentrate, making sure that you understood the question after making a mistake the first time. You've understood the question and how to answer it the second time. More advice, you're going to hear different accents from world Englishes, people around the world. If you make a mistake, that's okay. If you're having trouble understanding a particular accent, that's something that you need to listen more carefully. So just try to understand what went wrong when you make a mistake, and you'll do better, okay? Just try your best. And don't forget, if you don't have the textbook, you need it, or you won't be able to study for the exam, and you don't want to fall behind. You'll need it from this week forward. You can buy it online, or you can get it from the university bookshop. You can also maybe call them and the CBNU bookstore and see if they can help you with shipping if you can't find it online. Good luck. Okay, something else I wanted to mention about our Zoom meetings. Last time I took attendance the long way, but I don't have to do that because I do have Zoom records that can do it for me, where I can see how many people came in the room, how long they stayed, if they left the room and came back, all of that, those statistics I have. I'm just going to download the reports after each session. So we won't be taking attendance the long way again, but we will be going over some questions and answers. I haven't figured out exactly what I want to do this week with you, but it'll be the same time and the same place. After we've finished Unit 1, the submission date next week, okay, we'll probably be using not this, but next week's Zoom session to cover the answers from our startup books, okay? And we'll continue doing that after your submission deadlines have come and gone. So just keep coming back at the same time. It's the regular school schedule, so you shouldn't have a class conflict at all. And you can always go back, look on the wall for our link. Make sure that you're attending the correct class. We've talked about etiquette already, but remember, it is worth attendance points. You don't want to lose. And like a regular class, if you're 5 or 10 minutes late, that's a late, that's -1. Okay? And if you're more than that, like a regular class, if you're late consistently, or if you leave the room for a long time, that's, I'll see if someone's missing 20 minutes of a meeting, that's an absence, okay? Don't forget to dress appropriately, turn your cell phones off, try not to eat or sleep or anything like that. It's a regular class for us, alright? I think it's more than fair to expect you to be respectful to both myself and to your other students, your co-students, by following these rules. The class calendar, not much has changed. I'll try to give you lots and lots of time at least to finish your assignments. Okay, last week we had a small one times 2 because I wanted you to get familiar with submitting on Edmodo. A few of you made some mistakes. Remember to follow the link from the submission, from the assignment to your submission page, and you want to attach things carefully. I've heard from a few people that you're only allowed to resubmit 3 times. They must have made that a new rule. Okay, so you have to be careful with your submissions, but try to get them in early, and don't forget to click, what's it called? It should say like submit or turn in your assignment or something. There's a button at the bottom of the page, big and blue, and you've got to click on that. That's a submission. Okay, it's like you can write something like an email, but unless you click send, it doesn't go to me and I don't see it. So you have to get your submissions in on time, or preferably early, so if there is a problem, any kind of technical issue or whatever, you can try to sort it out without 5-minute countdown looming over your head. Do not submit them to me. I will not look at them if they are submitted by email or anything else. We're using Edmodo, so we can all prove that you've got submissions in on time and that you have a place where you can go back and review anything, check any comments, any scores. Okay, if you send it to me by email, well, first of all, I have no time to try to figure out how to pool your marks with the rest of the class. Okay, they have to be in one place. So Edmodo submissions. So you had to submit a picture last time, you had to submit a video, and you had to submit a document over those 2 assignments. All of those can be attached very easily. You have to find the right format. If it's too large or whatever the problem is, then that means you have to figure out which format you can use to submit it on time. Alright? That is your job. And honestly, I think you're all probably better than me using a computer because you've had more time working with them, I'm sure, over the last year. It shouldn't be a problem if you make time for it. Okay? So please be careful with your submissions. Be on time. That's number 1. We're going to do an assignment. I will be posting it to Edmodo's wall just like our other assignments in the past. But this one will be a lot larger because we're going to be going through the book and working with Unit 1, which is probably going to be the easiest unit. But you're going to have to read the submission details quickly, or carefully, I should say. Not quickly, carefully. And you'll be able to have your work done. And I'm hoping that there hasn't been a problem in the past, but I'm hoping that there's not going to be a lot of cheating. If you want to do some study with a friend or something, I'm not sure if that's the best way to study, but if you prefer and you're able to, then that's okay. But I will be taking individual submissions. Okay, there's no group projects for your startup work. So I'm going to give you a list of things to work on to have your submissions perfectly done in the very near future. Wait for me to post that assignment on the wall. And remember, do not email, do not message me with your work. It's got to go through Edmodo. Okay. Um, I am still getting a lot of emails. I would really prefer you give me a private message using Edmodo. Um, and if it's a problem, remember the private message is not shared with anyone else. It's just between you and me. But I do check Edmodo quite often when I'm not grading or if I'm not, um, working on lesson planning. Okay, it's pretty much in front of me all the time while I'm at the office. So just remember, private message. I For most of you, you've signed into Edmodo correctly. I can see your name and your student number, but don't forget to leave me your class and your number. So if you're Action English 11 or 12, okay, so I can find you very quickly um, online in my own books to check your work or to anything that you need to know. Just put that at the top when you introduce yourself and then state your problem or your comment. Okay? Okay, thanks guys. Hold on a sec. That's it for that. Just a moment. Okay. Guys, I had to make my screen a little bit smaller here. Hope you can still see me all right. um, First thing I want to point out before we get into lesson 1 is way back here, if they can show it. There are a few extra pages at the start. That's not where we want to go. Maybe they won't show it. That's okay. But there is a page in your student book that tells you the learning objectives for each unit. So I guess it's Roman numeral 4, the learning objectives for Unit 1, and they give you a small number of boxes here that can show you on a table what you're looking for. Conversation and speaking. Unit 1, what do you do? Okay, we're going to be talking about what you do, describing your commute, which is a commute is between places. Okay, talk about what people do at work, and the skill is greetings. There'll be some listening where we listen to a podcast. Okay, I'm sure you've heard those before, about commuting to work or back. We'll be listening for names, using our listening. Vocabulary is covering words to do with jobs, commuting, and work activities. There'll be some grammar that we'll be reviewing with the simple present tense of be. So we'll do some simple tense and simple present, as well as yes, no questions and WH questions. Who, what, where, when, why, how. How is part of those two. The question words. There'll be some pronunciation exercise to do with stressed syllables and simple present S endings. There'll be reading about a reading about super commutes, and we'll be making predictions in that part. Okay, the writing section. I'm not sure if we're going to make time for the writing. Now there is a section on writing a resume, which is basically a CV, okay, for a job application. But we might not spend much or any time with the writing section because this is a speaking class. And I'm not sure how I can do, first of all, how I can grade those assignments, as well as assess your writing skills when we're supposed to be focused on our speaking skills. So we might not get into that. Anyway, what do you do? On page 4, they give us an introduction to some different people that will be in the book. from the TSW Media. Okay, and this is really a difficult program to use, but I'll do my best. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see. TSW Media is a big company with big ideas. It has offices all over the world. It works with international clients to help them market their products and services. Okay, so the key indicator here is market. So this is a marketing company, okay, for brand names, for products and services. Here we have Simon Harris. Okay, so remember, in English, Harris, his last name, that's his family name. Simon is his given name. Just like my name is Stephen Hoag. That would be Hoag, my family name. So my father and his father before. And my given name is Stephen. His is Simon. Okay, he's a researcher. Yuki Ogawa is a social media manager. What do they do? Okay. Now, we could listen to all of them, but you can also just take a listen just the one time. Let's meet Simon.
Hello, I'm Simon Harris and I'm a market researcher. I live in Toronto, but I often travel to TSW offices around the world. Luckily, I'm really good at sleeping on airplanes.
All right. So this is Simon Harris's introduction. He's given us a little bit of information. Okay, he's a market researcher. That's his job title. He lives in Toronto, which is a city in Canada. I'm also Canadian. I'm from Winnipeg. But he lives in Toronto, but often travels to TSW offices around the world. So how would you get around the world? Probably on the airplane. So his follow-up comment, luckily I'm really good at sleeping on airplanes. That makes sense. Here we have Yuki, also on the top of the page. She lives and works in Tokyo as a social media manager. Okay, social media you probably all know very well. Everything from Facebook to Instagram, anything like that. In my free time, I like to go to concerts. I like going to concerts. I saw almost 50 shows last year. Well, obviously they made this book not in 2020, because of COVID. I don't think anyone saw 50 concerts last year. But you can have a listen.
Hi there, my name is Yuki Ogawa. I live and work in Tokyo, Japan as a social media manager. In my free time, I like going to concerts. I saw almost 50 shows last year.
Okay, we have a few other people here. Rosa Delgado. Okay, she's from Santiago in Chile. Also a photographer, but her main job is video producer. Carlos Moreno is, he has what sounds like a Spanish name, but he is a multimedia artist in New York. He also likes soccer. Diego Salas works in the Bogota office, South America, as a market researcher. Okay, he also gives some details about his hobbies. And Emma Davis is an account manager in New York and has a few favorite things that she talks about here. Okay, we don't have to meet all of them, but you get the picture. Okay, you can read along and notice that all of them have very different activities that they like in their free time. Okay, very different people, very different names. and we'll be seeing them more in this book. Okay. Let's go to the next page. Here we see Unit 1 beginning with our learning goals. And this will be the same for pretty much every unit. We'll be given a set of learning goals for the unit. In this unit, you want to talk about what you do, describe your commute, okay, how you get back and forth to school or to work, talk about what people do at work, read about supercommuting, and write a resume. So we might not do that, all right, together, but there's definitely some resume help at the end of the unit if you'd like. Here we have a picture of some people leaving the subway, which is how many people commute in large cities. Okay, read the title, What Do You Do? And the learning goals, we just did that. Look at the photo of the people, what do you see? Now read Simon's message. Where is he? Why is he excited? Okay, here's Simon. And he is obviously sending something small like a tweet. I'm at the TSW office for a week. Excited to meet everyone here. Where is he? At the TSW office. Okay. Probably New York, I'm guessing. And why is he excited? He gets to meet some people perhaps he hasn't met yet, because he does live in Toronto and he does work as a market researcher. He's probably sounds like this might be his first time meeting some of the other gang in the main office. Okay, so these are questions, ABC, that require answers, okay? And just because this is our first day, I'd like you to make sure that because these textbooks, these student books, there's not a lot of room for all of your answers. Okay? Make sure that you have some paper or a notebook. It can be something small, like I have this little book that I write in all the time, or even my daily planner. But it could be just a larger book with some lined paper, or even some, just a chunnin, just a $1 workbook that you can get at the store. And one good way to take notes without making a mess in your book is to just go here and write down the page number, okay, page 5, get started, ABC, and then write down your own answers. Okay. Another thing that some successful students have done in the past is get yourself a big post-it note. Okay, this one's half of my hand. It's a big block, and this is a really easy way of you write down your answers, you just throw it on. Very simple. You can just post it onto the page where I can see it very easily. That's another way that you can take notes without making a mess of your book, because remember, we're going to also be correcting our mistakes. So try to use a pencil if you can. Pencil has an eraser, right? A pen might get a little bit messy if you have to use whiteout or scribble anything over any mistakes that you make. Okay, but just show me that you understand the questions and that you can answer them. Those are pretty much very simple, short answers. Just try to use a full sentence if you can. Okay, our next page is where the unit begins. Lesson 1 is talk about what you do. And the first thing that we see on this page is some boxes of different people. And this is a vocabulary exercise talking about different jobs, okay, occupations. So Simon tunes in. There's a big meeting this morning. I don't want to be late. Anyway, we're going to take a look at some of these different jobs first, just to expand our vocabulary. Okay, so let's read along and repeat.
Listen.
A nurse. A lawyer.
A lawyer.
A software engineer. A chef. A teacher. A doctor. A pilot. An accountant. A pharmacist. A market researcher. A hotel manager. A journalist.
Now
Okay, I don't have to repeat that because you are watching this as a video. You can always go back again and again to listen and repeat yourself. The one thing I wanted to point out here was that all of these, except for one, all of these jobs start with a consonant, not a vowel, except for accountant. Okay, accountant starts with the letter A, so A, E, I, O, U. Those are all vowels, and when you start with a word, for instance, accountant, we can't easily say the word accountant. So we use the word, the letter N, an accountant, an accountant. Okay, it's easier to pronounce, and it's also a grammatical rule. So everyone else we can pronounce using a simple sound, a nurse, because N is a consonant. A nurse, a lawyer, a software engineer, a chef, a teacher, a doctor, a pilot, a pharmacist, a market researcher, a hotel manager, a journalist, an accountant. Okay, so if you find a job that begins with a vowel, you're going to have to remember, that's maybe a very old review for many of you, but just keep in mind why we do it. It's to make pronunciation easier. Now, part B, again, you'll notice there's not a lot of room in the student book to write down your answers. So I hope by now you've got yourself a book, a workbook to be writing in. So you just put down the page number, page 6. Okay, part B. You don't have to write out the question unless you want to practice your writing. Okay, who works in an office? Which of these jobs do people work in an office? Okay, an office building. Who of these people work in a school? Which of these people work at a hospital? And which of them work at a restaurant? Okay, so you should have an answer for all of those questions. You can write them down easily. Part C, choose one job. Tell your group about two things. Well, we don't have a group setting, so you're just going to have to write down your own answers. For instance, I know about chefs. They work in restaurants and they cook food. So I hope that you can think of a different occupation other than a chef. Okay, and tell me two things about that job that you know already. There's a grammar review here, and it mentions, I'm hoping this is review for most of you, affirmative statements, negative statements. Okay, I am a doctor, I am not a doctor. She is in New York, she is not in New York. Questions, where is he in London? Where is he from, or where is she from? Or who are they? Or where are they? Answers, okay. They also give you ideas of contractions, because contractions is when you take two words and put them together. It makes it a lot easier to speak more quickly. There's one thing about English, it's lazy. So you want to be able to speak quickly, and a very common thing is to use contractions. Okay, the verb to be is possibly the most famous example. You can use the word I'm instead of I am. So I don't usually introduce myself as, hello, I'm Stephen. Hello, I am Stephen. I usually say, hello, I'm Stephen. Okay, I'm a teacher, not I am a teacher. Okay. It's makes things much faster when you're speaking. Negative contractions as well, and then contractions with question words. Okay, but we don't always use contractions in affirmative short answers. Okay, you don't say yes he's, yes he is fine. There are some more practice here. Page 125. So you can start with this one. Let's see if this works. There we go. Unit 1, Lesson 1. There's a quick review here. Okay, you can start at the top. I think we should have these, but I'm just going to make sure. Okay, this is page 125. And I'm not sure if everyone has these, but I'm going to go through it with you until I can check. Okay, listen and complete the
Hi,
sentence.
I'm Maria, and this is Akira. We aren't from New York. I'm from Miami, and he's from Tokyo. We're market researchers.
Hello. It's nice to meet you. We're market researchers too. This is Lee, and I'm Nina.
Okay. So you can back up and listen to that again if you'd like. But once you've finished that page, let's see, can we go back? That can work. Just a moment. Do it this way. Anyway, so we've got an idea of the review for simple present of the word to be. All right, there's a complete chart on page 150. You can also check that out. Page 7, let's go over here for a sec, is a little bit of help with our pronunciation. So we're going to be watching for stressed syllables. Stress means strong. Okay? When we stress something, it really jumps out. Okay, so we're going to watch a quick video first that explains this process.
Stressed syllables. Words are made up of syllables. A word can have 1, 2, 3, or more syllables. Each syllable has one vowel sound. School, office, hospital, pronunciation. The word school has one vowel sound. Oo. So it has one syllable. School. Notice that school has two vowel letters, but they make one vowel sound. Oo. Office has two syllables. Office. Office has three vowel letters, but two vowel sounds. The E at the end is silent. Hospital has three syllables. Hospital. Pronunciation has 5 syllables. Pronunciation. In words with 2 or more syllables, one syllable is stressed. In office, the first syllable is stressed. Office. In hotel, the second syllable is stressed. Hotel. In hospital, the first syllable is stressed. Hospital. In accounting, the second syllable is stressed. Accounting. In engineer, the third syllable is stressed. Engineer. The stressed syllable sounds stronger or louder. Office. Accounting. The stressed syllable is also longer. Hotel. Engineer. The vowel in the stressed syllable has a clear sound. Hospital. The vowel in other unstressed syllables is often short and not very clear. Listen. Notice that clear vowel sound in the stressed syllable and the short, unclear vowel sound in the unstressed syllables. Doctor. Hospital. Computer. Stress is an important part of the pronunciation of a word. When you learn a new word, it's a good idea to mark the stressed syllable. Look at the word restaurant. You can use a dot or underlining, or whatever works for you. Listen to these names of jobs and areas of study. Notice the stress syllable in each word. Market researcher. Social media. Computer science. Software engineer. Airplane pilot. Hotel manager. Now listen and repeat. Click on pause after each item. Market researcher. Social media. Computer science. Software engineer. Airplane pilot. Hotel manager.
Okay. Let's get rid of this. There we go. All right. So we have little coach there on our stressed syllables. You might be able to find these a little bit easier now if we're listening.
Listen.
Science.
Accountant.
Hospital.
Okay, so where's the stress? You can start to see the large science. Accountant, hospital. All right. How about these ones? I want you to circle the words that have the stress shown. Okay. Early stress, middle of the word stress, or 3 syllables with early stress at the beginning.
Listen. 1,
Doctor. Hotel. Lawyer. Pilot.
2,
Computer. Attendant. Assistant. Researcher.
3,
Journalist. Pharmacist. Engineer. Manager.
Okay, you can listen to that again if you'd like. So which of these have the early stress? We're going to talk about that sooner than later. Which of these have the middle syllable stressed, and which of these words have the early 3-syllable stress? Okay, let's keep looking down the page here. We have a conversation. We're going to listen and check the names which answer these questions. Who is the social media manager? Who is a market researcher? And who is a marketing student? Simon, Yuki, or Zoe? So we're just going to listen here. Actually, I'll let you watch. Sure.
How was your trip, Simon?
It was great, thanks. And thanks for all your help with this meeting.
No problem. So, we're ready to start. Where is everyone? Oh, here comes someone. Hello, welcome. I'm Zoe Bartlett.
Nice to meet you, Zoe. I'm Yuki Ogawa.
Nice to meet you, Yuki. Let me introduce you to Simon. Yuki, this is Simon Harris. Simon, this is Yuki Ogawa.
Nice to meet you, Yuki.
Nice to meet you too. So Simon, where are you from?
I'm from Toronto. I'm a market researcher in the Toronto office.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a great job. And which office are you from?
The Tokyo office. I'm a social media manager there. What about you, Zoe? You're in the marketing department too, right?
Yes, I am, but I'm not a market researcher. I'm an intern.
Oh, are you in college?
Yes, I am. I'm in my 3rd year. I'm studying marketing.
Marketing is a great choice. There are a lot of good jobs in marketing.
That's true. But after college, I actually want to be a chef.
A chef? But...
Oh, it's almost 10. Sorry, other people are arriving and I should help them. Excuse me.
Okay. So, let me just get rid of this window here. All right, can everyone hear me? Input, okay. So we've watched that conversation. You are free to finish both the graph here and the conversation. We'll talk about the answers soon, but it shouldn't be that difficult. You can make 2 new conversations like these introductions. Here's some words that we've used or we've seen earlier, or you can use your own names and places and show me a small introductory conversation between people introducing themselves. Okay. You can also talk about yourself. Okay, what do you do? All right. Don't worry about introducing yourself to other classmates until our Zoom meeting. Okay, we're going to have a bit more introductions again, using some of the words that we've, and sentences that we're losing now. Okay. Let's see. I think we can go to the next page. Okay, lesson 2 is about your commute. And when people are describing their commute, it's generally how they go to work and back or school. Okay, a commute is how you get around. Okay. Here's Simon at the beginning. I just listened to a podcast about how people get to work. One guy travels 3.5 hours every day. Yeah, I used to do that. It's not easy. Commuting. So we're going to listen and then repeat. Okay, we've got a little graph here that shows us about a couple people we've met already at the start. But let's listen.
Listen.
Close to work. It takes me 15 minutes. Short commute. Far from work. 2 hours away. Long commute.
Okay, those are some phrasals that we'll be using. Okay, and they've highlighted them here in the conversation. So we're going to listen to each person, okay, talk about their commutes.
I'm Anna. My house is close to work. My office is 10 minutes away.
I'm Jeff. My apartment is far from work. It takes me a long time to get to work. My office is 1 hour away.
I'm Melanie. I have a short commute. My office is 5 minutes away from my apartment.
Alright, so you should be able to listen. You can listen more than once if you'd like to find those answers. There's another simple review here about affirmative statements and negative statements. Okay, I live close to school, or negative, I do not have a long commute. He does not have, he lives close to school is affirmative. So we use contractions like don't and doesn't. And if there's irregulars, we have irregular contractions instead of do, does, go, goes, have, has. Spelling rules. Now this should all be maybe something you've learned already. Okay, this should all be reviewed. But again, you can go to page 126. I won't have to play audio, so you can do that yourself. Go to page 126 to finish the practice. Okay, that's going to be another picture that you're going to need to show me. Okay, let's go over here. We're going to do some listening here about a podcast. This is listening to a podcast about commuting. Check the true sentence, 1, 2, or 3, according to the podcast. So let's listen.
Listen.
Randall Baxter lives in a house in Kingston, New York, but he works in New York City. His house is very far from work. Every morning he leaves his house at 4 a.m. He drives his car for about an hour to Woodbury. He meets his friend there. Then he rides in his friend's car for another 40 minutes. In Tarrytown, he gets on a train. He takes a train and a subway to his office in downtown New York City. Elena Ortiz works in Mexico City. She lives in an apartment. Elena doesn't drive, and she doesn't take a train to work. She walks to work, and her commute takes less than 1 minute. Why? Elena telecommutes. She works in her own home. So she walks from her bedroom to her computer in her home office. Long commutes are hard, and short commutes are easy. Randall doesn't like his very long commute. That's not a surprise. But here's a surprise. Elena doesn't want to work in her apartment. She wants a short commute to an office. Why? Elena's work is in her home, so she always thinks about work. When people commute, they can forget about work. They can think about other things. Studies on commutes say this: many people want commutes, but they don't want long commutes. For many people, the perfect commute is 15 minutes.
Okay. So, you can tell me what you found for an answer there. As well, you can double back, listen again if you'd like, and circle each correct answer. Okay. Okay, part C, I think we can skip that, but try it yourself, make it personal. Again, you can write down, okay, in your book, whatever works for you. Not a lot of space here, so use some paper and a pen, and page number is 9. Tell us about yourself and tell me about your own commute. Okay, don't worry about the poll, alright? But try to talk about your own commute. How do you get to school, or how do you get to work, or both, in a short sentence. Make sure that you're using the correct grammar that we've just learned. Okay, page 10 is lesson 3, and it talks about what people do at work. Okay, so we have a list of vocabulary here. These are called work activities. So we're going to listen and then repeat.
Listen.
Cook food. Help people. Answer phones. Travel for work. Meet new people. Supervise workers. Make presentations. Order supplies. Serve customers. Write reports.
Okay, those are a few activities that different people with different jobs might be doing. Circle the correct phrase. What is correct here? What does a chef do as an activity? Nurses and market researcher. Then tell me about jobs that you know well. Describe the jobs with the phrases in A1. Okay, so you'll notice there's lots of different jobs that we studied from the first page and page 6. Can you match up the activities that they do at work with the job description? Okay, there's another grammar review here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this one as well. It's simple present, yes, no, and question words. So I'm very sure most of you do already have a very good understanding of this. But go to page 127 and finish that page. Okay, when you're done that, we're going to go through some pronunciation here. This is simple present S endings. Okay, so you'll notice we pronounce the extra syllable, but we don't always need to use that, depending on the syllable stress and the letters used. Alright, so we're going to practice here. Let me just get this going.
Simple present S ending. The simple present S or ES verb ending has three pronunciations: S, Z, and Z. We say S in works. We say Z in serves. We say Z in teaches. These are the same three pronunciations that we use for plural nouns: reports, customers, dishes. The pronunciation of the S ending depends on the sound at the end of the base form of the verb. Work, works. Serve, serves. Teach, teaches. We pronounce the S ending "z" when the base form ends in a hissing sound. S, z, sh, ch, or j. The hissing sounds are spelled S, C-E, X, Z, SH, CH, or GE. For example, miss ends in the sound S, so we pronounce the ending is Mrs. Fix also ends with the sound S. Remember, we're talking about sounds, not spellings. So we add is. Fixes. We also say is after sh in wash. Washes. After ch in teach. Teaches. And after j in manage. Manages. The pronunciation is adds an extra syllable to the verb. Wash is one syllable. Washes is two syllables. Wash. Washes. Manage is two syllables. Manages is three syllables. Manage. Manages. After other sounds, we pronounce the S ending as the sound S or Z and do not add a syllable. The only difference between S and Z is that S is a voiceless sound and Z is a voiced sound. When you say a voiced sound, you use your voice. You can feel the vibration of your vocal cords here. Zzz. You don't use your voice for voiceless sounds. You don't feel vibrations here. S. The S ending is pronounced as voiceless S when the base form of the verb ends in a voiceless sound, but not one of the hissing sounds. Work ends in k. The sound k is voiceless. Works. Laugh ends in the sound f. F is also voiceless. Laughs. The S ending is pronounced as voiced z when the base form ends in a voiced sound. Serve ends in v. V is a voiced sound. Serves. Study ends in the vowel E. All vowel sounds are voiced. Studies. When we pronounce the S ending as S or Z, we don't add an extra syllable. The number of syllables does not change. Work is one syllable. Works is also one syllable. Serve is one syllable. Serves is also one syllable. Listen. Notice that verbs like serves end in es, but the s ending is pronounced z. We pronounce es as an extra syllable only after hissing sounds. In the following verbs, the s ending is pronounced s. Commutes. She commutes to work. Takes. It takes an hour. In verbs like lives, the s ending is pronounced z. Lives. He lives far from school. Studies. He studies on the train. In verbs like manages, the s ending is pronounced is. Manages. She manages a hotel. Supervises. She supervises all the workers. Now listen and repeat. Click on pause after each sentence. She commutes to work. It takes an hour. He lives far from school. He studies on the train. She manages a hotel. She supervises all the workers.
Okay. Alright guys, so after looking at that, you can probably understand how these different sounds come about.
Listen. Works.
Helps.
Serves.
Travels.
Supervises.
Teaches.
You can hear the difference. Okay, where would you find these words fall into each of these columns? Just make sure it's easier to see for everybody.
Listen. 1,
Answers.
2,
Writes.
3,
Uses.
4,
Fixes.
5,
Makes.
6,
Drives.
Okay, so in those cases, you can listen again and again if you'd like, but you hear the S sound, the Z sound, or the extra syllable Z sound. Where do these words belong in each column? So you can try listening carefully to find the answers. We're not going to be working in pairs, but you could write 3 sentences about someone you know using the vocabulary that we've learned. conversation. There's one more conversation here that I'd like to cover. We're going to watch this this go-between, and it's a lot of these people are meeting each other for maybe the first time. They're having a casual conversation, kind of an introduction, but also getting to know each other a little bit. Okay. Let me just dive right into it, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. That.
Hi, Simon. How's it going? Do you want some coffee?
Thanks. I'd love some.
So, do you travel a lot for work?
Yes, I do. It's usually fun. I meet a lot of new people.
And do you come to this office often?
Maybe 2 times a year. But my wife has family near here in Brooklyn, and we visit sometimes.
Brooklyn? No kidding. I live in Brooklyn. My apartment is close to my second job.
Second job? Do you have 2 jobs? And you take classes?
Yes, I know. It's a lot. I work here 3 days a week, and I have another job on Saturday and Sunday nights.
Oh, really? Where do you work?
I work in a French restaurant.
Wow, that's interesting. What do you do?
I'm an assistant chef. I help the chef, and I cook a few dishes, and sometimes I order supplies for the restaurant.
Do you like it?
Yes, I do. I want my own restaurant someday.
Oh, right. You want to be a chef. But I remember you study marketing?
That's right.
So, why do you study marketing? And why do you work here at TSW?
Well, I love cooking, but a lot of people want to be chefs. It's not easy. So if I can't be a chef, I can be a market researcher.
Good thinking.
Thanks.
Okay. Get that out. Okay, so guys, we're going through these conversations. You can practice as many times as you like. If you want to watch again and again to see the words that we're using and that we're practicing, they are very small videos, but they are good practice. You can just repeat. It's called shadowing when you are listening and repeating. And it doesn't work just for these education books. If you're really interested in learning English, maybe you have a favorite movie in English or show that you can just turn off the subtitles. Like a lot of you might like Avengers or some of those new superhero movies. You can often find them in English, hopefully, and not dubbed. And you can just shadow, some of your favorite scenes or whatever to understand what they're saying and to try to use the same connotation and the same pace. It's called shadowing, and it's a great way of practicing your spoken English. Okay, but you should do that as well with these videos as we go along, so you can see how every word works in the sentences that they use. I just want you to finish this conversation here. Okay, and I'm not going to ask you to go through any more practice. Okay, because this needs some partner work, so we might do something like this with the Zoom classes. But if you really want to cover everything that we've done, definitely go for it. I'm just going to go to the next page here. Just a moment. Alright, lesson 4 is reading. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this section. There's always a reading section where it's going to be, I'm going to give it a bit more time to just figure it out on your own, do your own pace. Okay. But before you read, okay, describe how your friends commute. Do they have a short or long commute? Do they drive, walk, take a train, or a bus? So some of your friends might be coming to school from the dormitory. That would be a short walk. Or maybe they live on the other side of town. Maybe they drive a car. Maybe they live in another another city where they take the bus to school every day. Okay. There's some vocabulary here. Different words that we can use to describe. Frequent means happens very often. Okay, so I frequently have classes, meaning I have classes every day or something. Disadvantage would be describing a bad part of something. Okay, one disadvantage of taking the bus is that I have to wait on traffic. I don't know. Buses are pretty good. Successful. A successful business makes money. Successful just means something that creates success or good things, prosperity. And distance is the space between two places. So what do you think? Reading skill. Read the reading skill. Here we go. Make predictions. Predicting makes it easier to understand articles. Before you read this article, read the title and its subtitles. Then look at the pictures. Okay, here's the title, Supercommuters. And I say subtitles. Those are also the bold words. The Fukukawas, a great life at a good price. The Connors, technology helps a family stay together. Okay, so those are subtitles. Then look at the pictures. Here we go. One picture here. Alright, smiling on an airplane. Can you guess what this article will be about? How does the title help you? And how do the pictures help you? So we already know commute is to go between one place and another, like from home to school, or from school to work, or from work to home, or whatever. What do you think the article will be about? What do you think a supercommuter is? Okay. And we have one more listening. Okay, I'm going to play the video so you can read along. Sorry, play the audio track.
Read.
Supercommuters. Akio Fujikawa has a long commute. His office is far from his home, almost 5 hours away by plane. He works in Tokyo, but he lives in Hanoi. Martha Connor's commute is even longer, more than 5,000 miles, about 9,000 kilometers, from London to Mexico City. They are both supercommuters, people who travel more than 180 miles, 290 kilometers, between their home and office. Why do they do it? The Fujikawas, a great life at a good price. The cost of living in Tokyo was too high, explains Akio. Hanoi is always exciting, but nothing is very expensive, he says. Also, flights between the two cities are frequent and cheap. So, 5 years ago, the family moved to Vietnam. He and his family love Hanoi, especially the Vietnamese food. Every Monday, Akio flies to Tokyo and returns on Thursday night. He stays with his sister while he is in Tokyo. He works from his apartment in Hanoi on Fridays. There is one big disadvantage, though. He misses his children during the week. I can never go to their school concerts or sports activities. The Connors. Technology helps a family stay together. 2 years ago, Martha Connor's office moved from London to Mexico City. She loves Mexico City, but her family doesn't want to live in another country. Her husband owns a successful restaurant. Her children like their school in London, and they don't want to leave their friends. So Martha became a supercommuter. She spends only about 10 days a month in Mexico City. She and her coworkers talk face-to-face and share ideas at video meetings almost every day. All the company's documents are available online. I can live in London and stay up to date with work in the office in Mexico City, she explains. The only problem is the time difference. My workday starts in the afternoon and ends at midnight.
Okay. So, supercommuters. After listening to that, you can listen to it more than once if you'd like. But once you're finished, there are a few. Let me just get that right here. Questions about to check your understanding. Circle the correct answers. Who probably said it? A for Akio or M for Martha. Okay, over here. And then focus on the language. What do you think the underlying words mean? So, cost of living, does it mean A or B? And stay up to date. Okay. So these might be considered expressions or phrasal verbs. What is this article about? Try to show me one sentence that kind of is a summary. It makes maybe one or two sentences, whatever you need, but a very short summary, okay, a concise, okay, retelling in a very short way. That is always a good exercise to be able to rephrase or summarize something in a short way. What is good about supercommuting? What is bad about it? Make 2 lists. Okay, advantages, good. Disadvantages, bad. Okay. Imagine you are a supercommuter. What do you like about it? What do you dislike? Use the information in the chart to make sentences. Okay, so they give you an example. Advantages, it saves money. Okay, so I like supercommuting because I save money. What do you dislike? I dislike supercommuting because I am far from my family. Okay, that would be a second sentence that you could add here. And also, depending on your own likes and dislikes, you can have your own sentences. Again, book or post-it, because there's not a lot of room in your student book. Alright, for your sentences. As for the next page, okay, this is lesson 5 is a writing section, and finally, after the writing section, we have a put it together media project. We're not going to do media projects because I feel like that is too far to go, but you can simply focus on what you've learned, okay? Your objectives, right? And see how much that you've learned this unit. That's fine. But let me go back. So we're going to disregard this page. But for the writing section, I don't like blank pages in any workbook, but this is a speaking, Action English is a speaking focused class and course. I'm not going to ask you to finish this. However, if you are interested in improving your writing skills. You can certainly go through this yourself. This is if you'd like to maybe attempt a resume on your own in English for a myriad of reasons. You might really find this a great way to improve not only your written English but your employment prospects. So I think I'm not going to deter anyone from completing the unit, but I will not require you to submit these pages for your written lesson 5. Okay. However, as an incentive for those of you who do choose to finish this page, okay, take a picture just like the rest. I'm going to ask for pictures for your submissions. And in the case of having a high score tie, okay, for instance, 3 people get 92.5% on the final after the overall score has been tallied, okay? 3 people have 92.5. The person that has done the most work, including extra work, okay, will be given the A if that's what it comes down to. Alright? So the person that demonstrates the most work in class. Now that might not sound like a big incentive, but keep in mind that if you do this part, you're also going to be learning something for yourself, for your own resume skill, your CV skill, okay, in English. It's a good exercise to go through. But I will not be grading these for just regular course selection points, okay? Anything extra like this, I will mark down if you submit it as extra work, and in the case of having a tie score with other students, you will be given preference for that A or A plus, whatever the competitive edge is at that point, okay? But certainly I would love everyone to finish this on their own if they'd like to. I'm not sure how many people have how much time. For the most part, this will not be required for any tests, okay? We're not going to have any written sections on your tests or your assessments. We'll be concentrating on your spoken English, okay, for your tests. The vocabulary that we use during the unit and the range of our pronunciation and conversational skills is paramount. But this is definitely a good exercise to go through. If you have time, I would consider finishing it just to have a little experience with your own English resume. It's certainly something worth pursuing if you're interested in that alone. Okay, so anyway, it's extra work. I will record your extra work. I will not give you extra points, but I will give you points in case of a tie. Alright, I think that's fair. We're going to stop there today. It's already been, it's an hour and a half already recording. So you should be able to watch this video again and again. If you think I'm speaking too fast, I hope not. But I'm trying to keep a natural conversational pace and flow. But if you rewind, watch again, you should be able to figure out what I'm saying and hopefully follow the book. And I'm going to post your assignment and all the pages that you need to submit very shortly, okay? Either today or tomorrow, probably today. so that you can get started on your assignment for this week. As well, we have Zoom classes coming up in the middle of the week, so I hope you can remember, and well, you can always go to Edmodo and click on the same link to follow the same Zoom class we had last time. Alright, so I will see you all there. If you have any questions, please write them down for a Zoom class. If you can't wait that long, you can contact me before then through Edmodo, or if you need to, through email. But Edmodo is much quicker. Alright, let's stop there today. And this assignment will be due in a week, so you have lots of time. Please submit early. Make sure there's no technical difficulties that will keep you from submitting on time, i.e. 10 minutes before the due date. You have to try to do it a little early, try to be ready, and you won't lose the points. Okay, guys? Alright, that's it for now. Thank you. Have a nice day, and I'll see you all soon.